week we're going to be talking about the non-stick pan. And is it healthy or not healthy? Okay? Right. So the aim of this presentation, or the aim, is to give you the history of the non-stick pan, what it's made of, to make you aware of the dangers, because yes, they are dangers, what are the health implications, and what are the healthier alternatives. So the objective is to help the learner be aware of the dangers of using the non-stick pan. Okay, how many people in here use non-stick pan? Lovely. Okay, can you give me 3 reasons why you use them? Why do you use them?
Because they're non-stick. Yeah.
Because they're non-stick. What else?
My pancakes can flip up in the air then.
Flip up in the air. Anybody else?
Easier to clean.
Less oil. So it's like, kind of like healthy, is it?
Yeah.
Quicker to wash.
Quick to wash. Right, very good. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief history of the non-stick pan, but before I start, I'd like to make you aware of the exits should there be a fire. You never know. Okay, so what you do is to exit the building, you're going to take a left, go down the stairs, and pull the signs out. Okay? If you would like to use the toilet at any time, please do feel free to take a left, and the toilets, there's 2 toilets on the left-hand side. Okay, I think I've done with that. Okay, so the history of the non-stick pan. The non-stick material used was accidentally discovered in 1938 by Roy Plunkett. Please remember the name because I'm old. Okay, while he was working on an experiment for DuPont, which is a company in New Jersey. The scientific name for the material is polytetrafluoroethylene. Okay? And so for short, we're going to call it PTFE. Okay? PTFE. And it's simply a synthetic solid material made up of carbon and fluoride. The brand name is Teflon. Which is used in car manufacturing industry, building materials to coat pipes and drains in the US and around the world, because everybody knows about Teflon. Yes, and it was patented in 1941, and the trademark Teflon, which most people know, was registered in 1945. So you will see there's 2 carbons and there's 4 fluorides. Okay? C for the carbon, F for fluoride. Okay. And obviously, the multiple times to make it, it would be loads and loads of them. Okay? So loads of these 6 packs all coming together to make that Teflon material. So it sounds very nice or convenient, yeah? Okay. So what the blazes does this mean? PFOA, this is another one. And it says, PFOA stands for perifluorooctanoic acid, and aka C8. So all of those are components that make up the Teflon as we know it, or the coating of your pans. So it's a lot of funny names, long names. Okay, I know at this point you must be thinking, oh, it's really confusing. Well, I mean, it's 25 past 8, don't you think? Okay, so PFOA is a man-made acid used in the manufacture of Teflon. And it is part of another long name, which you don't need to know, just put PFCs. Okay. By 1948, they were making more than 900 tons of PTFE a year at their plant in Virginia, as it had so many varied use on applications for the building industry, whatever it was used. The non-stick pan is born. In 1954, the wife of the French engineer, Marc Grégory, urged him to try the material he had been using on fishing tackles on her cooking pans, and so the first non-stick pan was introduced as the happy pan. And there's the first advert for this wonderful pan that everybody seems to use now and can't get rid of. Okay, and does anybody remember that? The Teflon head, you know, saying that it's only the brainy scientists work for Teflon. So what's wrong with the non-stick? Unfortunately, exposure to these PFCs have been associated with kidney and testicular cancer, high cholesterol, abdominal thyroid hormone levels, pregnancy-induced hypertension, preeclampsia, obesity, low birth weight, all good reasons to reduce your exposure, don't you think? Did you think about that? Okay, contamination of PFCs. Because it's so widely used, it's actually contaminated the water supply practically everywhere around the world. And it's found in 98% of the bloodstream of Americans. DuPont was hit with lawsuits for poisoning drinking water for tens of thousands of people in West Virginia and Ohio. Now, their plant is in West Virginia, so what they were doing, they noticed that a number of their staff were either having problems with thyroid problems, or they were having low birth weights. There were a number of implications that we saw before as a result of working for the plant. And they knew this, and they covered it up. And in 1984, they had to pay $16.5 million for hiding the alarming truth that these groups of PFCs were linked to cancer and birth defects. Their scientists had known that for over 40 years, so they all knew that, but because it was just like flowing everywhere and everybody knows about it, they decided to withhold that information. So, if your non-stick pan is heated over 200 degrees, it actually releases 14 toxic and carcinogenic chemicals. It is fatal to birds, especially parrots. It can cause Teflon fever if heated beyond 300 degrees. Now, if you know you're frying chicken or whatever, you use a high temperature, so you're going to go over the 200 and you are releasing these chemicals. There's a little test actually to see what it tastes like. You can use baking soda actually. So you have a little cup and you put a teaspoon of baking soda and you taste it, and then you try your different parts and see if there's any change. And if you try it with your Teflon, it's the most disgusting taste ever. So that shows you what you're actually ingesting in your food. Okay? So is it just pans that use PFCs? Unfortunately no, because they're used in coatings for stain-resistant carpets, stain-resistant clothing, in the microwave, popcorn bags, pizza boxes, most of the fast food wrappers, and most waterproof or stain-resistant clothing is coated with them. Yeah. So what are the alternatives to the non-stick pan? Because we all want the convenience now. You see, we've been spoiled. Take your question later. And so, what can we use since we've now been spoiled in this way? So you can actually use ceramic. Coated frying pans. They're inert, so they don't release any poisonous gases or anything like that. You can use cast iron, you can use clay, heavy, cast iron's very heavy. That's one of the problems why they overcame it by using the ceramic coated. You can also use glass because you know is it Cornware? They use those glass. You can use those glass pots. The only problem with those is the handles. You have to be really careful with that. So there are, problems with it, but it is a totally better alternative to using your non-stick pan. Sorry to disappoint everybody, but I just thought I'd let you know. So I'm just giving you that. Right. That's quite short. So I just want to recap here, because everybody looks a bit stunned. Are you a bit?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Can I go back? I want to go back to the beginning. Question how to get up.
Slideshow again. Just press escape.
And then go back up to slide.
Beginning. Just go to beginning. It's there.
You can pick which slide you want to do.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just. Okay. So we talked about the pans, and I think I don't know if you're stunned or surprised or whatever. If it's heated over 200 degrees, do you remember how many toxic carcinogenic components are exposed? 14. Yeah. And one of the things that it is actually toxic to are one of the major reasons what alerted the scientists to was that some people had birds in their house and they noted they were dropping dead, especially parrots. So these are one of the things that alerted them to the fact that they'd something wrong. Also, the fact that their workers had high rates of cancers, specifically kidney and testicular cancer. So all these things came up. Is there any other thing that I talked about, any other health issues that arose as a result of using or working for DuPont? Anybody else? I talked about two thyroid problems.
Yeah, and you also talked about low birth rates.
Premature birth.
Yeah. Preeclampsia.
Obesity.
Obesity, yeah. And I also asked what other, because I also said that it's not just a non-stick pan, we use them in other applications. Anything else you'd like to? Clothing. So for instance, if you use Gore-Tex, Gore-Tex, there's those ski things, they've got those coats, they are coated with that particular product. Yeah. Anything else?
Why did you choose to do it on non-stick pans? Because it was interesting, because I didn't know any of it.
Oh, because I've done some research on it, and that's why I don't use non-stick
But
pans.
why did you do the research? Was it?
It's just my own.
Right. No, it's
benefit,
interesting. Really. I was going to ask, I know you said if you're heating the non-stick pans, it's harmful. So what about the coats? Are they harmful?
The coats. The point is, because as I said, because the use of it gets into our water, and although it's not harmful per se, when you don't heat it, you can have your pans, they're lovely, just don't use them, really. But the point is, the use of it, the manufacture of it, has created contamination, so it's actually in most places, so that what you need to do is, as I said, remove yourself from using those. I know it's a bit difficult, but I think if you're made aware of something and you can find alternatives, I would advise that you do so. Okay, and when you think about what it does to our bodies, then maybe using an alternative would actually reduce our risks. Yeah, because we notice today, although we've got a lot of scientific advancements, there are high rates of cancers, and when cancer is a problem with the lifestyle as well, so we like the easy street a lot. So everything's convenient. Even the Apple bands,
The what mats?
the Apple watches, the
Apple
Apple
watches?
mats.
Okay.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
those ones. So if you want to find out any more information, if you go to egw.org, then you can find out some more information. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.